Hello there, Maverick Currency Traders. It is Rob Reinhold. It is Wednesday, October 25th. And today was a big, crazy day everywhere except for Forex for the most part. So let's jump into it. In this session, we're going to be going over what happened today, look at some of the news, break down all the markets. Then we're going to take a look at the market where it is right here, right now. We have a saying at Maverick, trade the market in front of you, not the market you think it should be, the market you want to be. There's a market in front of you. You may not agree with it or not, but look, it doesn't care if you agree with it or not. We trade that market. And of course, we're always looking for trading setups, and I think there's a couple good ones over the next 24 hours.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the Apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
Yesterday we had that nice bounce in equities, and today we fell apart. Now this is where we were 24 hours ago. Bitcoin was looking strong. Bitcoin has been the clear strength in crypto, and we were getting a little bounce from the Aussie and Kiwi because, again, yesterday was an up day. However, the dollar stayed strong. That was a good sign that the dollar would be the place to be in case we had a sell-off. As you can see, the yen was flat, and we had some weakness in CAD, euro, and pound, but nothing much. Everything in the currency market is still pretty well behaved outside of a market, bond market, equity market, currency or commodity market. They're all kind of going wild. Right now, there's not a lot of volatility in Forex. So let's take a look at the news, what happened. We had the Aussie CPI came out a little bit hotter than expected. That also helped the Aussie out a little bit, but it just wasn't enough to overcome this risk-off sentiment. We'll see that the Aussie actually fell today. We saw the bonds yields rebound, which meant the stock market was falling. We are really seeing negative correlation between these two. If the bond yields rise, the stock market crashes. If the bond yields fall, the stock market goes up, but not all that much. That's why we think there's still more weakness, because even when bond yields fall, the stock market barely moves. And then when bond yields rise, the market falls apart. It's asymmetric at this point. We did hear from the Bank of Canada this morning. They kept the rates at 5%, and the Canadian dollar was virtually flat on the day. So let's take a look at the performance for Forex for today. As I mentioned, CAD was flat along with pound and Swiss franc. Strongest currency was the dollar. So we got that risk-off move. The dollar went up and the yen went up. But again, look at this. The yen in the past has been the ultimate currency of safety. In a day like today, 5 years ago, yen would have been up 1%. Dollar would have been up 0.5%. Look at what's going on. Yen is having a hard time being a currency of safety. That being said, it's still a better option than stuff like Aussie and Kiwi that you saw fell today quite a bit. So this was kind of the opposite of yesterday. The Aussie, Kiwi were up, everything else was down. We had that equity market fall, and it pulled the Aussie and Kiwi down with it, which tells you right away, Aussie and Kiwi right now are very highly correlated with equities. If the equity market continues to fall, these are going to be great places to be short. If the equity markets bounce, these are going to be a decent place to be long on a shorter term trade. Let's take a look at the other markets. S&P down 1.5%. World market down a little bit less. Crypto has been up. Crypto has actually been acting very, very good in this risk-off move. Stock market is falling, other commodities are falling, and the crypto market is really held in there really nicely, which is a good sign that if we do get a bounce, the crypto market is looking to be poised to have a nice run. Gold and oil continue to move higher. This is part of the risk-off move that we've been talking about. Bitcoin, though, has been the clear winner. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart. I think it still looks good here. Look, I'm not fishing in the crypto market at the moment. I like to fish there when everything's rocking and rolling and crypto is getting a lot of money. Right now, crypto is getting a lot of money because people are fleeing other asset classes, and they're putting some in crypto. That's really what's happening at this point. Typically, that hasn't been the right time to own crypto. It's been more on when everyone has a bunch of money and they're throwing additional stuff into crypto. But look, we can't deny the price action. It's looking fairly decent at the moment. Did we get a scoring change today? Well, let's take a look at the S&P. We were below the 20, below the 50, and sloping downward yesterday, and it just got worse. I mean, take a look at this candle. We had this little 2-day bounce. It took 1 day to wipe it all away, and now we're closed down here, even below the low. Last week, we talked about how 4170 was the next support level. That's likely where we're going to get. We did have some news after the bell. We've had a mixed earnings report after the bell. Meta had some good earnings, and then we had some bad earnings. We also got a speech from Chairman Powell that actually sent the futures down a little bit after market. So at this point, it's way early. We are looking at a slightly lower futures than the market closed at, even with a good report from Meta. So the markets are still a solid -3. We don't get much uglier than this. If we take a look at what's going on over the next 24 hours, we've already had that Chairman Powell speech. We do hear from Governor Bullock tonight from the Aussie. And then tomorrow morning, we've got the ECB. All right, so the ECB is going to announce monetary policy at 8:15. And then we're going to get advanced GDP from the US. Look at that number, 4.5%. That is a hot number. If it comes in hotter than that, I'm telling you, these bond yields are going to surge well past 5% if that number comes in at 5%. A 5% GDP is just way too hot right now for the Fed. And then, of course, we got the ECB press conference. That's usually where we get the move in the euro. If you are looking to trade euro, yes, you get a little bit of move at 8:15 on the financing rate, but the big move is going to come 30 minutes after when you get the press conference. So that's what we're looking for over the next 24 hours as far as news reports go. Let's go in and check on some of the currencies that look interesting at the moment. I'm on a 4-hour chart here, and the first thing I want to take a look at is Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let me flip over to a daily chart here. But you can see that there is clearly a bunch of capital going into Bitcoin. Now, these kind of trades, sometimes they are very difficult to say, okay, look, we've already had 3 big strong days. We've had these long upper shadows. Yes, that is true. We have no idea how long this move is going to last, but we know for right now, the train is going one way. We want to enter off of pullbacks and bases. So we know there's a move going higher. So again, we had a little pullback here, and we're getting a little pullback here. I still think you can be long Bitcoin. I don't love it because I don't think the background is right. But if you're going to do anything in crypto, it's got to be a Bitcoin long. That's the only thing that really makes any sense. If I come over here, I want to take a look at the dollar. Here is the dollar on a 4-hour chart. And you can see the dollar's got a lot of momentum going on behind it. We've just broken out of some resistance. The dollar is definitely getting some capital. We come over here to the yen, that is a currency of safety, and you can see, yes, it's getting capital, but not like the dollar is. Not like the dollar. The dollar is the clear, strong currency now. Much more strong than even like the Swiss franc that has been strong. This Swiss franc had a huge run. It's cooled off a bit. So when you take a look at all the currencies here, you can see when we go through them one by one, which one is looking the strongest? It's really dollar here. Come over here to CAD. It's not looking great, having a bear rally at the moment. But let's focus on where we want to be short, because everything else is kind of in the middle. Where do we want to be short? Here's the Aussie, and you can see I'm not super excited about being long or short Aussie. It's kind of in the middle of this range. We come over here to Kiwi, and here we go. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for weakness, and we have found it. This is where the weakness is. There's a little bit of support here. For me, I do like the Kiwi on the short side. If we take where we were 24 hours ago, we have seen the weaker currencies, at least where they were last night. They're now at a 0. So pound, euro, CAD, they're all at a 0, along with the yen, the Swiss franc. So as you can see here, that's really all that's happened here. The Aussie and the Kiwi have weakened, and we think, again, they're very correlated with equities right now. If the equity market goes down more, there are going to be great shorts. If the equity market bounces, they're probably decent short-term longs. What is the one currency that has been strong in up markets and down markets? Yep, dollar. So dollar and Bitcoin have been the ones that when the markets went up, they went up. When the markets went down, they went up. This is where the strength is right now. A bunch of stuff in the middle, but to me, Kiwi dollar and a Bitcoin trade is really the only currency trade to be had right now. So we already took a look at the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look at Kiwi dollar. Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application. Then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader? All right, so let's take a look first on a daily chart. So Kiwi dollar on a daily chart. This is where we are, and you can see we are breaking some really, really major support. We just broke it. We came up and retested it, and we failed miserably off of it. So we definitely expect another leg down here. The big question is, where is the entry? Where's the actual entry point? This is a 4-hour chart. So we came down here, we bounced, and we broke. I'm telling you, this is the entry point. Right here, it is the entry point. And you know what? Every so often I do this on my roundups. Let's go ahead and actually make a trade. I think this trade is ready to go right here, right now. So let's run some numbers on it. Current price is 58.02. Let's call it 58.03. I'm going to have my stop above this 13 EMA. So we're going to be at 58.30. So 58.03, 58.30. That is going to be the trade here. So let's go ahead and put that in. I don't love to enter trades in the early Asian markets, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway here. So again, I'm going to come down here. My entry is going to be, I'm going to put the order a little bit below the entry. And then again, I'm going to attach the stop order. I can attach that stop. And my stop is going to be at 58. We said 30, but I'm going to add a little buffer. So 58.35. All right. So 58.03. 58.03 is the entry here. Like I said, I don't usually do this. When we have our end of days. Like I said, I don't like to trade during the early Asian session, but we've got a lot of energy right now, a lot of momentum in the markets, and the equity markets are just looking like they are falling apart. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. There's one other chart I really want to take a look at. And that is dollar yen, because dollar yen looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic. Take a look at this chart. And we've got this high base that's been basing since the 1st of October. So October 2nd was the start of the base. We've based for almost an entire month. And then here we are. Here's the problem. We are at 150. And the Bank of Japan has kind of said, hey, 150, we don't like 150. And when we see 150, we're going to come in and intervene in the currency markets. It happened back here last year in October. And let's take a look at more recently. This candle right here is a day that the Bank of Japan came in and intervened. So here we are, we're at 150. I love this chart. I absolutely love this chart. I think this chart looks good. But I also know that the Bank of Japan is sitting there saying, hey, at 150. This trade is going to go one of two ways. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. Everyone out there has this expectation of yen intervention at 150. What happens when the dollar yen creeps up to 150 and people are shorting? Let's say there's a bunch of people shorting right now saying, oh, Bank of Japan is going to intervene. And we creep up to 150.50, 151, and all of a sudden people realize, oh crap. Or maybe the Bank of Japan comes out and says, we're not intervening this time. It's going to take off. We're going to take off. Or, let me tell you what else is going to happen. The Bank of Japan is going to come in and intervene and is going to hammer it all the way down to 147.50. As you can see here, there are two scenarios that could happen. I think you could flip a coin. This is simply news trading. Whenever you trade news, you don't know what's going to happen. If you are a riskier type of trader, I really like dollar yen long here. With the stop, you might get some slippage. You might actually lose a little bit more with the stop, but I think that at some point, Bank of Japan is going to let this go, and potentially we could see a nice run up to maybe 155. I'm not going to take this trade because, look, if that happens, so let's say the Bank of Japan doesn't intervene, what's going to happen is money's going to flow into the dollar. Money's going to flow out of the yen, and it's got to flow somewhere. It's going to flow into the dollar. I'm in Kiwi dollar short. That's going to help my trade. It's not going to be as explosive as dollar yen, but here's the thing. My dollar Kiwi trade doesn't really care about what the Bank of Japan does. So I'm going somewhere else. I'm dialing down the risk a little bit. And I still think that if the dollar yen pops up to 155, that will only help my dollar get stronger against my Kiwi that's weak. So I want to just go over this chart because this is a big deal in this market. If we see dollar yen break 150, I think it does spill over into all the other markets in a little bit of a panic. Let's wrap this up. We talked about dollar yen. I think it's very, very important to watch. I'm playing not dollar yen. I'm playing dollar long, hoping that the dollar yen breaks higher. That will only help my trade. I think you still have to expect moderate moves. As much as the other markets are moving around, we're not seeing it yet in Forex. So if you're playing Forex, understand what you're doing. If you're in crypto, we're only seeing moves in Bitcoin. Everything else is pretty muted as well. So just have the right expectations. Don't have crazy targets because they're probably not going to reach them until we get some more volatility in the markets. That is the currency recap. Have a good day. Goodbye, everyone.